Hello and
Hello.
welcome to Not What You Think podcast. I'm Tor.
I'm Robin, and this is a podcast where we go over common untruths and misconceptions. For today's episode, we have something different yet again. We are going to be reviewing The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode 1. So, maybe to start right away, since our theme is not what you think it is, what did you think before the episode started? So what were your expectations?
I was expecting them to deliver what they always gave. I feel like the teaser shot really showed a different picture of what the first episode was. Like the teaser compared to the episode, it wasn't what I thought. The teaser really showed like a collective group with one person going out of the group to talk to someone that was like evil. But the first, obviously, I mean, it was the premiere, so we got to see two new housewives, one of which I don't really care for. And obviously, Mary came back, and oh my god, Heather and her Ozempic journey, she has disappeared. She's gone.
Yeah.
She has fully halved in two. So that was what I was sort of like going into it with. But I mean, overall, I thought it was a very good premiere. What did you think?
Yeah, well, I did think it was a good premiere, but like going into it, what I thought, I expected it met my expectations because I feel like this franchise has consistently given us a lot of like different dynamics. Dynamics keep changing. Like Meredith and Lisa started out best friends, hated each other. I think now they're like okay. The cousins,
Bad weather.
literally, and now it's like they don't like each other, it seems, but they're like working through it. So dynamics seem to really change in this show for some, like more so than other shows.
Honestly,
I feel like.
especially like Angie K is such a mystery to me in this whole franchise.
Angie K?
Literally, she's not what we thought she was. I'm so confused with her friendship with Mary. That seemed to have come out of nowhere. And also her friendship with Whitney.
Yes, so that was in the beginning of the episode. Also, just to talk about a little bit about ourselves, we intended to film this earlier, but we fell very ill. A little norovirus hit both of us. So this episode's review was supposed to come earlier. So we have some notes in front of us, but I'm trying to remember. I think the episode started with the Bezos party.
It started with the Bezos party, and at first I thought she meant Jeff Bezos and not, because I was like, how she kept saying it. It's like Bezos. Like, I don't know, she kept saying Bezos, and I was like, okay, but like, what does this have to do with Amazon? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
But it started with that party. Angie K and Mary walked in together, in matching outfits, which was very confusing.
Yeah.
And
okay, so yeah, let's talk about the Bezos party and the outfits. So Bronwyn's outfit, costume or fashion?
I think it's fashion. It's
not what you think it is, costume.
I mean, according to Brittany, costume. According to everyone else, fashion. I think it was like a piece. It was a moment. I think she kind of gives a bit try hard, to be honest. Like, I know she's super rich. I know she has like literally all the fashions in the world, but I don't know. Like, and one of our friends told us that may not actually be the case.
One of our friends told us what?
The heart jacket.
Oh, that you can find it.
Yeah, one of three is potentially not true. Well, potentially untrue and not what you think it is.
That's what, I mean, we don't know. But
slander.
I actually kind of thought it was costume, but I don't know much about fashion, so who am I to speak? But I agree with Brittany. So Brittany, we were introduced to the first time. Obviously, it's the premiere. She's a friend. I think she's a friend, and I think maybe Bronwyn's a full-time housewife.
Bronwyn's a full-time housewife because she has the title card. But Brittany, I don't know what. Like, I feel like she's really trying to get her scenes. I mean, obviously, as she should.
Yeah.
Because, like, she's trying to, like, make it to, like, housewife status. But, I don't know. She really...
Yeah.
She seems to be rubbing some of the housewives the wrong way. As we transcend into episode 2,
I don't get the feeling that...
But I I feel like she's trying a bit.
I don't get
hard.
the feeling that Brittany's like doing this stuff on purpose. I think that conversation with Brittany, Bronwyn, and Mary, I honestly think she didn't. The stuff she said, like, I feel like I would say that. I would sit down and say, oh, nice costume, because you're wearing like a heart. So I don't know why you wouldn't think that's a costume. I don't think she meant that. And then
costume is like clown. Like, if someone says costume, I think of clown. I think of like Comic-Con. Of like $15,000 for heart jacket.
Yeah.
If I bought that and I wore it out and I thought I was feeling like fresh, and someone said, "Ooh, nice costume," I would say, you are a bleep beep bleep.
Oh.
I mean, I would have probably been meaner then. I would have probably said what Mary said.
So, okay, Mary. Now, somehow Mary heard Brittany say, you grow up poor, which is so funny because she didn't say that. And
she kind of insinuated, though, when
why
she
is
said...
Mary offended
when Mary
that?
said, we grew up, we never had enough, that can translate to, you didn't have enough of what? Enough money, enough food? Like, she didn't really specify, and I think, like, Brittany was looking to, like, have, like, a moment of connection. So she
That's
said,
what
like,
I thought. That's what I mean. I don't think
grew up
Brittany's
poor.
trying to be malicious or hurt anyone. I think she's just, like...
I think she's missing, like, a social cue or two.
You know what? Maybe, but I think that, for me, that scene, I took away that Mary's being Mary. She's always kind of offended at things people didn't even really say. Like, yeah. And then Bronwyn also, I mean, she was also offended at something that, like, the costume thing, I don't know. Well, you said you would be offended, but to me, like, I kind of
I would be offended. She was offended about the costume, and she was offended about the poor.
Bronwyn was not offended about the poor.
No, Mary.
Oh, Mary was also offended about costume? But that didn't involve her.
No, because, like, she...
Oh, she wears, like, pieces like that. Okay,
yeah.
See, yeah. Okay, I think we can just move on from that. One of my favorite parts of the episode is the Meredith, Whitney Houston. Okay, so I'm really tired.
Not Whitney Houston.
Whitney Houston, wow. Yeah, I'm really tired. You know, just to add more info about our norovirus. There's not a lot of appetite going on right now, so probably need more food. Yeah, I need more food.
Heather Gay wishes.
No. Did it the natural way. No, okay, no. So, the bath bombs.
Oh my god. What's with the bombs?
The bombs. Yeah.
The bombs.
The bombs. And then Whitney's like, what? So, Whitney had already been selling bath bombs. This is not new.
Meredith is definitely reaching. Like, she is looking for a moment.
Yeah.
To try to, like, take Whitney down.
Okay, I actually don't think... Okay, this seems the theme that you think people are looking for moments where I don't. I don't think Meredith is looking for a moment. I think Meredith just...
She totally fabricated this whole thing about baths.
No, I think she just, like, thinks differently. I noticed Meredith's thought patterns, I feel like, are unique. Like, how she deduces things is, like, different from... So, like, she connected that to, like, a random... What was it, a jewelry? Because, like, she sells jewelry, and then...
So, she sells jewelry.
Yeah.
And then Whitney started selling jewelry, apparently.
Okay.
And then she
made a connection there.
She was like, I'm selling bath bombs. And then apparently, like, Whitney was also launching, like, a new bath product.
Okay. Like, objectively, Meredith doesn't make sense. Like, I get it. Because objectively, like...
I think she's kind of narcissistic.
She doesn't have a monopoly on baths.
And bath
or
jewelry. Bath products, jewelry product, like, any type of product. But the fact that she took it as, like, a slight against her. Like, how dare Whitney create a bath bomb?
Okay, but again, to see it from Meredith's point of view, she's kind of like, the past 4 or 5 years, she's tried to make it that she's the bathtub queen. She's, you know, that's her thing. And I think that Real Housewives on this show, this is an opportunity for them to sell things, to make a business, to start, you know. So she's like, oh, she's encroaching on my territory, and she did it before with, like, jewelry.
But that's also, like, untrue in the fact that she criticized Whitney for being in her bath with her husband. So Whitney has had a bath situation on the show just as much as Meredith. It's just Meredith criticizes Whitney consistently for her bath choices.
Yeah, Whitney talked shit about Meredith's, like, she's like, oh, ew, bathtubs are gross. I remember there was like a season where she's like, ew, bathtubs. So
wait,
now,
I thought that was Whitney talking about Meredith. No, Meredith talking about Whitney.
no. Meredith loves bathtubs. She always has.
When Meredith was with Seth in the bath, and Whitney said it was gross.
Yeah, Meredith and Seth have had many bathtub scenes, and I
mean
think
that
Whitney,
is kind of gross. Like, don't show that on camera.
It's called The Real Housewives. So, now we're gonna speak about what I think was a totally looking for a moment. The scroll. So, Angie comes out of nowhere, in my opinion. I felt like the conversation between Meredith and Whitney, who now we're gonna call Whitney Houston for the rest of the show. I feel like that came out of nowhere. Like, she just, like, their conversation wasn't over. Angie jumps in. She's like, Meredith, I need to talk to you. You need to apologize to me. I still maintain that I don't understand why Meredith needs to apologize about anything to Angie. I don't get it.
They literally rehashed it at like the reunion so
Yeah.
many times. Like, to me, it's like dead in the water. Just like leave it where it is.
Yeah.
But like, she's still going on that Meredith says that she's in the Greek mafia. Meredith says that Monica should come for her house. And it's like, they've already talked about this, like, enough.
Yeah.
And the fact that she brought a handwritten scroll to a party is embarrassing.
Yeah. And she took the time.
You should be ashamed of yourself, Angie.
Oh, you're
I'm reversing
the script. Yeah, she took the time to write out the scroll. And again, I don't think Meredith actually did any of those things. So I think it was Monica. So I'm really confused.
I mean, it could be a Lisa Vanderpump, Lisa Rinna type situation where Meredith is Lisa Vanderpump and she like manipulated the situation so that Monica would say it on camera. Because last season she really was goading everybody into being like, I know this about her husband. I could destroy them. I know, like, her husband is like with the stylist on the street. But like, she wouldn't, then when they would be like, well, say what you know, she's like, oh, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
But then like Monica was like, oh, I know. And Meredith's like, oh, what?
I can see that. I can see that too. Okay, so then I think they go to have the dinner.
There was like no kissing at this party either.
Oh, it's called Bezos.
Bezos. The whole party's about kissing, and there was no kissing.
Maybe they kissed each other on the cheek. No, when they walked in.
I don't know. It was a Bezos-less party.
So, I feel like I mean, obviously things are edited, but it seemed like they sat down and then it was immediate, like
bam.
Yeah. So, well, podcasts seem to be really like a hot topic right now in Housewives world. So, Lisa's mad at Whitney for speaking about her at in a podcast interview, and in Orange County, there's like this whole thing of like, oh, you spoke about me at a podcast. So,
I mean, say what she said, because I think what Whitney said is wrong, and she should apologize for that.
Whitney calls Lisa a villain, I think.
She said that she's been the villain the whole time.
Yeah.
And that it's like, well, I can't remember exactly what she said, but basically along those lines, that she's a liar and a villain.
Well,
I think that's rude. Like, if we're like friends, I'm not gonna go and be like, yeah, this person's been the villain the whole time. They're evil. Yeah. Like Lisa's had hot mic moments for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like Lisa's more or less accountable to those actions. Yeah. Like, she will own it.
I don't like the villain label. Like, I don't really like that because I feel like these shows, people have the tendency to really, especially on social media, people like go way too far with how invested they are. Well, we're doing a podcast about it, so I don't know if we can talk.
Equally invested?
No, we're invested, but people get so like attached and emotional and they like hate and so then like, I don't like the labels because then it's like, if you're gonna push that label that Lisa is like a villain, then I think that gives people more permission to like hate on her and like say terrible things about her. And so I don't like that. I don't think there's like villains on these shows. It's like,
oh, there definitely are villains on these shows.
But okay, so it's like, I've always loved Kenya more, but she gets labeled as like the villain. But it's like, I really never saw that.
Villain or pot stirrer.
But they all, okay, this franchise, or Salt Lake City, they all stir.
They all got their hands in
They
the pot.
all, I can't think of anyone who doesn't. Yeah, okay, so I guess we're in agreement about
I mean,
situation.
Whitney sort of opened it up for herself by being like, name one thing I lied about, and then like looked down the table thinking I think that she was gonna get
That was a bad, I think this reminds me, I don't know if you've ever watched it, where Teddy Mellencamp on one of the seasons of Beverly Hills said, "I've never lied in my life." And
It's
when
like, you really can't say that.
No, okay, everybody, public service announcement. Don't say that, because every human being has ever lied, and then you open the door. So
Yeah,
Whitney
she
then
opened
says,
herself
"I
up.
have never lied." And then Heather, that was one of my favorite moments too, where Heather just does like a big laugh. Heather does this huge laugh because it's so funny to her to say, "I've never lied." And then Heather says, "You lied about like my book."
I mean, Heather lied about her own book.
Well,
Like,
Heather's a liar too.
Heather's a liar as well.
Yeah. But see, we don't like labels. I don't like labels, but like, I'm saying,
No, but if you
she
lied,
has lied.
If you have lied, you're a liar.
She's participated in lying. And then Meredith is like, "You accused me of lying about my father's memorial."
That was really gross. I didn't like that.
That was really
storyline.
early on. I feel like that was almost like season 1 or 2.
Yeah, that
I
was like
remember
not.
that.
I didn't like that.
And then Mary of running a cult and being a predator. Remember
I
when
mean-
Mary said she like picked the wrong word? This is so long ago. But it was like Mary was saying to me, she wanted to say you called me a predator. Said the wrong word. I feel like she said you called me a pornographer or something
Yes.
like that.
Pornography. Yeah, she definitely
Yes,
said
she
something
said,
like that.
You called me a pornographer.
Oh my god. Ew. Definitely not. Like, that vision is disgusting. Her and her grandpa.
Oh my god. Step grandfather?
Honestly, Jen,
Yeah.
for all of her. Speaking of villains, Jen Shaw, for all of her
Yeah.
horror and like atrocities, she had some amazing one-liners.
So actually, I think since we're gonna speak about that, I feel like it's a good time to say I genuinely think I like everybody on the show, on this cast, except for I never liked Jen Shaw. Season 1,
No, she was always bad.
I just didn't like her, and it may be because like, I mean, it turned out she took advantage of the elderly and scammed them of money, so like my instinct was right, I guess, but never liked her. Whereas like the other housewives, you know, they're not, no one's perfect, but I feel like at the end of the day, I like all of them. I think that's why this show is so fun to watch. It's like,
Yeah, they're
I'm
all,
not
like,
team anybody.
likable.
Honestly, I'm not team anybody.
Yeah, I'm not team anybody on
Maybe
this show.
I would say I've always had like a bit of a more affinity towards Meredith, but I don't really.
I go in and out with Meredith. Yeah.
Okay.
I always liked Lisa, though.
Yeah, Lisa's pretty iconic with her rings, her $100,000 rings. So
How
this
the
is
episode finishes.
This is pretty much how the episode ended. Whitney left with her bestie Angie, which Heather was very surprised by. And then Meredith says, no, Heather says, "I thought Angie was my girl." And then Meredith says, "You misread that one, honey." And she kind of like laughs at that.
That closeness between Angie and Whitney, I was not expecting. Because I didn't see that
Yeah.
throughout the episode. And I didn't see that throughout any of the prior seasons.
I don't like when things happen off screen, like Angie and Mary getting close off screen. Like, where did that
Yeah.
come from? Angie and Whitney. Reminds me of like, and I think this is super, super fabricated, to be honest with you, when Jackie Goldschneider and Teresa Giudice on New Jersey all of a sudden became close, and they kept saying, "Oh, it happened off camera. Oh, it happened off camera." And I'm like, okay, great. But also, is
That
this just an
one-
alliance to take down Margaret? Like, I don't know if this is real.
That one is fully fabricated, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I found some stats which I want to go through for episode 1. The analytics of episode 1. Okay, so apparently there were 7 confessionals for Mary, which is a lot.
Whoa.
6 for Lisa, 5 for Angie, 4 for Bronwyn, which is a lot for a first-time housewife.
But we're getting to know her.
4 for Whitney, 4 for Heather, 1 for Brittany, and none for Meredith. And apparently there's another friend of Maylee.
Oh, mainly because, well, episode 2, she wasn't in episode 2.
Yeah, but I'm like, they didn't really intro her well.
No, not at all. I think she was an afterthought.
I think she
Because
was as
also,
well.
okay, we'll talk about this in our review of episode 2. I felt like there was stuff that was cut out. Because they referred to things happening with Maylee, and I was like, what? When did that happen?
Like, who the fuck is Maylee?
I think the editing maybe...
It's sort of like the new New York, where they just, like, started at mid-season, and it made no freaking sense.
Yeah.
Okay, screen time. So, Lisa Barlow, 7 minutes and 47 seconds.
Okay.
Whitney, 7 minutes and 19 seconds.
Okay.
So pretty equal, because they honestly, they were the stars of episode 1 going back and forth. Meredith, 5 minutes and 31 seconds. Angie K, 5 minutes and 7 seconds. I feel like that checks out. Bronwyn, 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Heather, 4 minutes. Mary, 3 minutes. Brittany, 2 minutes. Maylee got 56 seconds in episode 1. I feel like Heather has been pushed to the sidelines, and I don't know what happened, because if you look at the intro card, Angie K is in the center and Heather is at the end.
Okay, so wait, Meredith is still getting the third most airtime, even with, like, no confessionals?
I think that's because she had so many confrontations.
But she had no confessionals?
She had no confessionals.
That's odd.
And then, basically all of Heather's screen time was confessionals and, like, one little, like, bit at the end, really.
That's so interesting. I think I know why Heather is being pushed out, if she is.
Why?
Because Heather, the black eye thing, that's really bad. But it's not. It's not just bad with the audience. I think why it's so bad is because, and I think someone said this at the reunion, she kind of got the production company in trouble.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't Jen Shaw, if it wasn't that, there's no one else there, so then they had to investigate their own people.
Really don't know why she created such a bad cover-up for that black eye situation. And she lied about it so many times. She lied about it saying... She committed it, that it wasn't Jen, that it was production. She said she was going to tell the truth in the book, which she didn't. She said she was gonna...
No, she committed to the lie. Like, she went all the way. It's like...
Which is... It doesn't, like, make sense to me. Like, why was she protecting Jen so much until the end when, like, Jen truly probably could not care less about Heather? Like...
I think she got into a dynamic with Jen that... I mean, okay... Disclaimer, we're not psychologists. I'm just psychoanalyzing here. I feel like she got into a dynamic with Jen Shaw where Jen, being, in my opinion, a narcissist, she sort of, like, controlled her or manipulated her, like, subtly.
I think she definitely has something on her.
She had no, but I don't think she even needs to have, like, blackmail. I think
she just has black eye.
No, I think narcissists, they can suck you in and they can manipulate you and they can use you, and I think Heather couldn't come out of that even after Jen was sent to jail.
It's still just, because remember the whole thing doesn't make sense, because I felt like how she was portraying their friendship on the show leading up to it was that she was distancing herself from Jen, and then like the girls trip black eye thing happened, and then she seemed to get closer to Jen all the way up until her sentencing.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean, even when she says she's distancing herself, that doesn't mean she's, like, no longer under her, like, control. Like, it's a narcissistic dynamic. Like, a narcissist, I mean, with victim, I don't know, do you call them victims? I don't know, narcissist something dynamic. Like, I think she was under her spell, so to speak. So,
I mean, I would hesitate to call Heather a victim in that sense, because that would remove her, like, agency.
No, I don't think she's a victim in lying. I think that...
She chose to lie, and she chose to perpetuate the lie well after Jen was locked away.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's a victim in that situation. I'm just saying she was in a dynamic with Jen Shaw where... Okay, remember when we're going to take this back to season 4. Remember when she, like, stood up and, like, yelled at Monica and said that we're not doing this again?
Timeline.
Yeah, she kept referring to Jen Shaw. Because she kept saying, we did this before. I think there's some weird trauma, not weird trauma, there is trauma there with, like, the weird dynamic she had with Jen Shaw, because I think there was, like, a pull on her. She had a hold on her. Like, it was, I don't know, I always saw it.
Do you think there was, like, some, like, romantic relationship?
No.
I don't know, I feel like I just don't understand, like, their dynamic.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
And I never will. Okay, some more stats. In terms of percentages, feuds, confrontations, disagreements, and agreements or arguments took up 47.4% of the episode. I feel like that's fairly standard for Housewives. Group greetings and small talk, 6.8%. Extras, 13.4%. Intros, 11%. Friendships, 5%. Personal life and family, 6%. And flashbacks, 9.1%. Now, in terms of mentions, Lisa got the most, 17.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, then Meredith at 14, Angie 13, Whitney 11, Mary 11, Brittany 10. 10 times for her first episode. That's pretty
Also,
good.
wait, I just have to ask, who's breaking down these statistics and doing these analysis? That's so...
The reality report on Instagram.
I've never heard of this in my whole life. I'm literally, like, shocked that this is even a thing.
They are active, and
wow,
we love them for it. Okay, so that is our recap of episode 1.
That's episode 1. Thank you for listening to our review of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 5 premiere episode 1. As always, please subscribe, turn on the notification bells, comment, like, share,
you name it, you
and
should do it.
And thank you so much for listening to us.
Yeah, listening to us. Yeah, I'm very excited to see where this season goes. We'll be doing episode reviews on a semi-regular basis whenever we can. So stay tuned for that. If you have other franchises that you want us to see or other mentions, other call-outs from the episodes that we didn't get to, definitely comment them down below.
Yeah, let us know what you want us to review, and also just continuing with the not what you think theme, let us know what you want us to delve into. So, you know, a lot of you seem to like our Vegas episode, our pop culture one. So if you have any other things you'd like us to talk about, let us know. I wonder how long it was.